From the Home Slice News Center, this is the Daily Slice for Monday, February 7th, 2022. I'm D. Ray Knight, and this is what's going on. A bipartisan group of South Dakota House lawmakers is giving their recommendation to a pair of proposals to fund a position in the Attorney General's office to coordinate law enforcement investigations into the disappearance and murder of Indigenous people. The House Judiciary Committee recommended two bills for funding to the lawmakers ironing out the state budget. The legislature last year created the position and pushed Attorney General Jason Ravnsborg to work with the tribes to find funding to staff it, but he has not obtained the funds. That's left some Native American advocates frustrated. Ravnsborg says he is also working to find funds this year. The state bar is pushing to make an emergency remote witness order permanent. With more is Amy Rose.
The State Bar of South Dakota is asking the legislature to make permanent an emergency order that allows certain legal documents to be witnessed remotely. The emergency order was made nearly 2 years ago in response to the coronavirus pandemic. Andrew Fergal, executive director of the State Bar, says COVID-19 has closed doors to lawyers needing to meet with clients in facilities and has made it difficult to get in-person witnesses for client signatures. Fergal says the problem goes beyond the pandemic for attorneys who work with the elderly and vulnerable and routinely face the same difficulties.
The Black Hills Stock Show wrapped up over the weekend, and many vendors were saying it was their best year ever. Foot traffic was heavy on Saturday at the monument, and the hallways were crowded with people shopping at the vendors. Stock Show manager Ron Jeffrey says events during the week were also well attended, and the great weather this year helped fuel the increased numbers. In national and international news, the Biden administration wants to make it easier to unionize. Chrissy Davies has more.
A Biden administration task force has issued a set of recommendations that could make it easier for federal workers and contractors to unionize. The report released Monday includes 70 recommendations. The report argues that a decade-long drop in union membership has coincided with a rising share of income going to the top 10% of earners. The report's goal is to increase unionization in part through the heft of the federal government as an employer. The Labor Department reported last month that only 10.3% of workers belong to a union in 2021, down from 20.1% in 1983.
International efforts to defuse the standoff over Ukraine have intensified, with French President Emmanuel Macron set to hold talks in Moscow and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz visiting Washington to coordinate policies as fears of an invasion mount. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan warned Sunday that Russia could invade Ukraine any day, triggering a conflict that would come at an enormous human cost. Russia has denied any plans of attacking its neighbor, but urged the U.S. and its allies not to accept Ukraine and other ex-Soviet nations into NATO, halt weapons deployments there, and roll back NATO forces from Eastern Europe. And that was your Daily Slice for Monday, February 7th, 2022. The Daily Slice is a production of Home Slice Media Group, hosted by D. Ray Knight, with Amy Rose and Chrissy Davies. Executive producer Mark Houston. Engineered by Chris Jacquez. I'm D. Ray Knight. Have a great day.